oversees all the details. As he said, I am very shy, and this is very difficult for me, so please bear with me. Let's see, I first met Richard when he came to sell glue to my father's pottery company, the oldest pottery company in East Liverpool, Ohio. He was working for his brother's glue company in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He had come to Pittsburgh from his hometown in Rothenburg, Germany. And he was only 18 when he came, but he sold glue for his brother. Now, what he did is that he went all over the northeast United States and sold glue to local merchants, to the general stores. This was very difficult, not only because the travel was very hard in those days, but because every small town had its own tannery. And as we know, the byproduct of the tannery is glue. So every town had glue. And Richard had to convince all the small shop owners to buy his brother's glue, as opposed to the glue that was available just down the street. He was able to do it. My Richard is very persuasive, and he has a very strong personality. And in fact, that's what I attracted me to him. And I know my father admired that in him also. We were married in 1897. Richard was 27. I was 22. Richard decided at that point he did not want to sell glue for his brother any longer. He said, the money to be made is to be made in the manufacture of the glue, not in the selling of another man's product. So, he decided to find a place where he could make glue. Now, on his many travels during the sales time, he came to Gowanda and called on a local merchant here. And he thought this was the most beautiful town. It reminded him of his hometown in Germany, Rothenburg, Germany. The rolling hills and the greenery. He said it was beautiful. So he came home from the trip and he said to me, Alice, we are moving to Gowanda. Oh, I said, okay. Well, Richard, then we're moving to Gowanda. He said, yes, we are. Now, we're going to go, there is a company there called Wilhelms and Fisher and Company, and they manufacture glue. And he got a job with them. He got the job as a manager. And then he became the plant manager. And before you know it, as I look back, it just seems like he just jumped from one job to the other. He was manager and then plant manager and then manager of the new factory that they started. Then he broke off and he started a new glue factory called the Eastern Tanners Glue. Eastern Tanners Glue Company. But he still wasn't satisfied with that. He bought, at that point, Peter Cooper Glue Company, which was based in New York City. Once he bought that and he merged the Peter Cooper Company with the Eastern Tanners Company, all of a sudden, the largest glue company in the world was here in Gowanda. Yes, imagine that. By 1911, we were second in size only to the Ford Motor Company. Yes, it was very big. And let's see, 1 out of every 10 people in the area was employed by the glue factory. We were doing very well. In fact, in the first 7 years, Richard became a millionaire. And we lacked for nothing. We had so many, we had 3 houses. In fact, one of them was right down the street at West Main and Chapel Street. Right now, it houses the law practice of Wyand and Wyand. And there are apartments on the 2nd and 3rd floors. But when we built it, we lived there. That was our primary residence. And we had a ballroom there. And on the side of it, I had my gardens. Beautiful, beautiful gardens. I love to garden. I found such peace and enjoyment in that. Now, before the Wyans, if you remember, were Dr. Chang had a medical practice there. And Dr. Root and Dr. Chang ended their practice, they retired. They very generously donated to the village that lot on the side, which is now Chang Root Park. And that's where my gardens were. I look at those gardens now and think, oh my goodness, all that work some people have put into that. And I know volunteers in the area have planned, and they've planted, and they've weeded, and they've watered, and they're beautiful. And people walk through those gardens and enjoy them, just as they should. That's what gardens are made for enjoyment. They look so beautiful. Now, there's a pergola there, where in the summer, I understand you have band concerts. What a delightful idea. That has been moved from its original spot in my garden, but I hope that's the last original piece of my garden. I used to love to sit there in the summers and get a lovely breeze, read books, go through magazines, read my catalogs. It was beautiful. Oh, very nice life here in Gowanda. But as I said, we had two other homes. One of them was on Delaware Avenue in Buffalo. Now, we were amongst the ritzy people there, the blue stocking, the silk stocking neighborhood, the blue bloods. But you know, they didn't like us very much. We were new money, they were old money. So we sold that house and kind of just settled on our house here in Gowanda, and also a house, an estate on Lake Erie in Hanover Bay. It's called Lotus Bay. And it was named Lotus Bay by my Richard after my parents' pottery company. Isn't that sweet? So I love going to Lotus Bay. There was a big house. There were 5 guest cabins, 60 acres, formal gardens. And if you go there today, the fountain is still there. It doesn't work, but it's still there. The columns for my formal gardens, an artificial lake. She used to love to entertain there. As I said, Richard and I had no children. That's something we regretted. But we did have nephews. We had family. I had a niece, Vera. Hello, Richard. I had a niece, Vera. And Richard had 2 nephews who lived in Buffalo, Walter and Edwin. You had some nephews in New York City, and you had one in Germany. So we doted on them. They were spoiled for us. But we loved them.
Excuse me, my dear.
Certainly.
Thank you so much obviously, for entertaining all our fine guests while I was away at business. Have you been speaking about yourself to them, I hope?
No, I've been telling them about you and our houses and the blue factory.
Oh, but what about some of the things that you really enjoy doing?
Well, there's not much to say, Richard. I like to garden, I like to read.
But there was one other thing that you really enjoyed. What was it?
Oh, Richard, you're going to make me tell my secrets, aren't you?
You should, yes.
I love to order from catalogs. Oh, I love to order from catalogs. And my Richard never said no.
No.
The delivery man was there every day bringing boxes and boxes of things to me.
What did you do?
Well, some of them I opened up, but some of them I didn't have time to, so I just put them in the attic.
I know.
I know. And then, yes, in fact, when I died in 1962, your nephews had to liquidate the estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just took things from the attic and took them off to Buffalo for auction.
Yeah.
There were many, many things still in the original boxes, unopened.
Talk to you about that. What about reading? Did you tell them about reading?
Yes, I do love to read.
Well, that's what I'm so very excited about. Part of the reason why I was away was that I just realized and found we have 2 special guests on the inside. A surprise for you.
Richard, who are they?
Oh, you
Oh,
have to come into the theater to
don't
see.
tease me.
You come into the theater, and I would invite all of you to come into the theater as well. So please step in. There are some seats here, please, and fill in as best as you can so we can meet our special guests.